control of your health by learning how to take charge of your emotions. Hello, I'm Dr. Paulette Sedlak, and I'm a chiropractor and a board certified clinical nutritionist. I've had the great opportunity to help thousands of people attain and maintain their health over the last few decades. And this has enabled them to fulfill their God given purpose in life. You know, a big part of people attain their health goals is helping them overcome any emotional situations that are affecting their eating patterns and their overall health. And I think you are going to have a greater understanding. You absolutely, I promise you, you will learn something very valuable for your health during this session today. You know, I've been learning for decades, and I always do everything to continue my education. I invest in coaching, and I've always done that. And there's never a time that I don't learn something. So keep open ears, keep open hearts, and keep open mind as you're listening. And I promise you, when you start to take in this right information and you begin to apply it, I promise you that you will have positive results that are probably for this lifetime and the next, no doubt. So often I see the effect of emotions that really what the types of effects it has for making choices. So first of all, I want you to understand that emotions are not a bad thing. So in the first image, I want to share a scripture with you. This is in Ecclesiastes 3:4, and there we go. Okay, we have the exact slide that we need here. Ecclesiastes 3:4 states that there is a time to weep, and there's a time to laugh, there's a time to mourn, and there's a time to dance. So emotions are normal, and there is no condemnation have emotions at all. You know, I think so many times we're under the influences from the atmosphere and people and situations where, you know, we harbor guilt and we harbor so many things. We're under stress and things just, you know, with our emotions and our thinking actually begin to take control. So in themselves, emotions are not bad. They're not bad. God has given you emotions. And there's certainly, as I said, no condemnation for having them. I think it's so important for you to understand that sometimes on ourselves. So emotions are really a part of what make us human. And if we didn't have them, we'd kind of be like these robots, you know, that have no emotions. We would just be a machine kind of without a soul. So emotions were never designed, though, to think or make a decision. And that is huge. I want to say that again. Emotions were never designed to think. That is not their purpose. They are not there to think or make a decision. So they are designed as part of how you feel about a situation, how you feel about a thing, a place. So your emotions are a natural, automatic state of mind that is derived from your circumstances, your mood, or your relationship with others. And the definition of an emotion states that an emotion is an instinctive or intuitive feeling as distinguished from reasoning or knowledge. Now, I want you to pay close attention to what is being said regarding what is really happening when emotional decision is made. So in essence, it says an emotion is a feeling. An emotion is not based on reasoning or knowledge. And I'm going to change the word knowledge in that sentence to truth. So it will read like this. An emotion is not based on reasoning or necessarily on truth. The word truth may encompass knowledge that you may have about something, but it may not be the truth about something. So this is very important for you to understand. An emotion is an expression of how you feel, and it may not be happening because something is true or not true. So the emotion is happening as how you perceive a person, a situation, or a thing. So emotions are not designed and never should be a basis on which to make a decision. I can't emphasize that enough. So they are an expression of what you are feeling. Making decisions while you're emotional is never a good idea. So let's just take the example of making purchases. This is the next image is about emotional buying. So I want to give you an example and explain this. So it is said that buying decisions are only about 20% logic, about 80% emotional. But really, your emotions could be making up to about 90% of your decisions. That's kind of scary to me. So I want to give you a little story. Okay, this is a true story. A few years ago, I was helping a friend move, and he said he was on a tight budget. He didn't have much money for decorating or food or furniture. And I told him I would help him find reasonably priced curtains and decorations because he had nothing where he was moving in. So during the time of his move, he went into an appliance store to purchase something he needed for his home. Now that store had televisions, and he already had a television, but he thought while he was there, he would just look around. Well, the helpful salesperson showed him a 60-inch or inch plasma screen television, and he told the salesman how much he loved watching sports. He just loved sports, and he would just love to watch sports on television. Of course, the salesman told him how much he thought he would enjoy watching sports on this very large television screen. And and he could make payments for 3 years. 3 years. Sold, my friend said. And he called me and he told me he bought the television. I said, "You told me you barely had enough money for food." He went on to tell me that he could make payments and how much enjoyment he was going to receive from watching sports on this big screen television. "What happened?" I asked him. And I reminded him of his budget that was tight, even to buy healthy food. And he said, I know, but I just was so caught up in the moment, right? Caught up in the emotions. So your emotions can put all reason aside. All objectivity is thrown out when the emotions are allowed to make your decisions. But you are not designed that way. So your brain has all these signals. So we want to look at this in the next image regarding your brain signals. So you kind of have two sides of your brain. You have the logical side, which is going to tell you, I think we are going to eat all these good foods and these healthy foods. And then you have the emotional side that says, gosh, I gone through so much stress. I'm still under stress. I still feel bad about a situation. Gosh, the way I was raised, gosh, I've suffered emotional abuse. I've suffered physical abuse. I've been sick. I have suffered problems with illnesses that I have battled for years. And then this side of the brain starts to talk, and this is in what's called the limbic system. So your emotions are processed in this limbic system, and it is going to create the emotions that you are feeling. How you act on that emotion is entirely up to you. Now, you can choose to respond with good or bad choices for your health because of an emotion. And having an unhealthy pattern of emotions, because if you've done this, not just today, but you did it yesterday, the day before, the weeks before, the months before, the years before, so this creates this pattern. Well, this weakens your good decision-making abilities. Sounds not so good so far, but good news is right around the corner. So first, making continuous decisions based on how you feel can make or break your health. You need that. How many times have you made an emotional decision regarding your health? Probably more than you can count. I know I have. I have had many past experiences of extreme stress, extreme illness. I've suffered trauma, loss of loved ones, and the list goes on and on. You have your own list. So while, these emotions are making decisions for you, you may be making unhealthy food choices that become a habit. This becomes a pattern. It becomes ingrained in your brain and in this limbic system. So the decision you make while you're emotional can create this pattern. This is emotional eating. This is carbohydrate addiction. This is food addiction. So you may have an emotional pattern that causes you to neglect your health, basically. So who's in control? Are you in control or are your emotions in control? So, what is driving your health decisions? Do you make healthy choices how you feel at the time? Or do you wisely contemplate what you will eat and do that supports your health? Well, they did a research study that was conducted with people that are anxious or depressed individuals. And there's no doubt that these people revealed that their emotions can interfere with decision making and making wise choices. So emotions absolutely can be complicated, and emotions in part are based upon your beliefs. Now, this is very important because you may believe something. It may or may not be true, but perception is reality. So I want to share Proverbs 23:7 that states, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." And this is true whether you believe scripture or not. The principles in scripture apply to everyone. And this is absolutely applicable to me, to you, and to everyone. As you think in your heart, that's really how you are. So, Henry Ford said it this way: if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. You're right. And we're going to talk more. I'm going to speak more to that subject in a minute. So hang in there because this information is absolutely life changing for you regarding your emotional health, which actually is going to trickle down to your physical health. So, in the next picture, I want to show you something about choices. And this has to do with what you are going to choose. Are you going to choose the apple or are you going to choose the donut? Well, let's say you have the option. First, I'll explain what is happening with making an emotional decision regarding which one of these you will choose. Your emotions interact with a series of dynamics. Your brain evaluates your options at any given time. Would I like to eat based on what I'm feeling? It assesses which options are available. In this case, your options are an apple or a donut. Next, your brain considers the state of mind you're in, who or what is present, and the information about your options. Select state of mind you may be in. Think of an emotion that would cause you to make a decision on which one of these foods you're going to choose. You can choose a good emotion. You can choose kind of a bad emotion, we'll call it for now. So next, your emotions begin to select the options based on the value it associates with the option. It is thinking how this particular food is going to make you feel or how important it is to you at this time regarding that food. That food holds value in here in your brain. So your brain may be thinking this is going to make you feel better because you're stressed, or how valuable is this to you at this time for your health? So you have options based on past experiences, which have created a belief system of eating, whatever that is for you. So if you perceive it as high value, whichever it is, good or bad emotion, good or bad response, if it's of high value to you in your thinking, you are no doubt the decision to choose either the donut or the apple. So lastly, the outcome associated with the selection is evaluated. What is the outcome of eating the donut? What is the outcome if you eat the apple? Your brain says to itself, I think I'm going to choose the donut because I'm feeling sad and lonely. Or your brain says, I feel good about making a healthy choice for a snack. Therefore, I am choosing the apple. So yes, there's a lot going on in that brain of yours with your emotions. Now, in the next image, I'm going to explain how your emotions trick your brain. How do emotions trick your brain? Well, when you are experiencing stress, for example, the hormone cortisol is elevated, and this triggers an eating response. So when you're thinking, the thoughts are actually chemical, and this just amazes me. This is, my master's degree is in sciences with the emphasis of nutritional biochemistry. So, I just love understanding that even what you think creates chemical reaction in your body, and even what you think can change what your body needs nutritionally. Because if you're always under stress, you're actually burning up B vitamins and your vitamin C. So many things are happening just because of what you think. So this has to do with your emotions. So if you're stressful, you feel that you're always experiencing some type of stress, you're going to have the elevation of cortisol, and this is going to trigger an eating response. So suddenly your brain's main feel-good neurotransmitter, which is called serotonin, goes down. So cortisol goes up, serotonin goes down. This equal sign, I can't do it with my hands. This equals you wanting to eat more sugar and other carbohydrate processed unhealthy foods because your brain is trying to give you a surge of serotonin. It's trying to change the hormones in your body. It's trying to make you feel better. So if you give into this every time you're stressed, you create the emotional addiction to food cycle. So your belief regarding how you feel about a situation is largely determines whether you will have anxiety and or depression when it's triggered. It's all what you believe in here. So remember, the situations can be real or just enhanced as a threat related situation that triggers response. It can be something that happened to you as a child. It can be something that happened to you today. So you see, we all have this. We all have these things that are going on in our emotions. So the next image shows us that stress can cause poor food choices. So stress can lead to poor eating. And of course, there's a lot of dangers to this because consistent poor food choices affect your overall health. And the food you put in your body directly impact how you feel. So follow me on this. If you're eating good and right foods, it changes how you feel, which means changes how you feel emotionally. Think about this. So if you're having, we'll say, a bad day, a stressful day, and you've been eating really well, your brain can actually handle that better. Your brain can process it better. Your brain sees and feels it as a different situation. So that situation may actually be there in your brain, but it changes how you respond. I know this sounds like heavy duty stuff, and it is because you're actually changing. There is a way to change the neural pathways in your brain regarding how you thought food. And I'm going to begin explaining today how you can do that. So this is life changing for actually millions of people, millions and millions, no doubt billions. So the foods you put in your body affect how you feel and they affect how your brain functions. The types of food and the amounts of food you eat affect certainly your weight, your risk of developing chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease, many types of cancers. And the food choices are a big determinant whether you develop digestive disorders, whether you gain weight, whether you become obese. You see, there's a vicious cycle of poor eating due to emotions. And this can make your moods worse and cause you to be more emotional. It's really kind of like this emotional wheel, like a hamster wheel. So, breaking through these emotional barriers that keep you from achieving your best health is incredibly life changing. Making right changes to your diet can support balancing these appetite hormones that cause hungry. When you're really not hungry, you're actually emotional, but you feel hungry. So also specific foods and right supplements can support balancing brain neurotransmitters. This is serotonin, this is dopamine, and these are the neurotransmitters that have to do with causing you to overeat when they are imbalanced. So stress can absolutely affect your carbohydrate cravings. You know, people say to me often, well, how can I get rid of these cravings? Well, we have to address all these underlying issues. So there's a way that it unfolds. And by balancing these, you are supporting the prevention of obesity and diabetes and heart disease and digestive disorders and mood swings and many types of cancers. Now, I am going to show you 3 ways to overcome emotional food choices. And if you would like more information on how you can take your health further, I'm going to explain how you can connect with me after I present these tips. So stay tuned. First of all is the image I want to show you, the steps to I can do. Here are your steps. Now, I realize you may have been through a lot in your life, and overcoming poor food choices may seem like an impossible task. Sometimes it seems like a mountain before you. Well, the only way to get to the top of the mountain is one step at a time. So you may be at the place where you say, I'm just not going to do this. I just won't. I won't do this because of how poorly you feel and how long maybe you've been in this pattern, how intense this pattern is for you. So I want you to get to the point where you go from I won't do this to okay, I can't do this. And then I want to do this. How do I do this? Okay, I do it. I do it. I will do it. And yes, I did it. Now, I've helped people over the last few decades go from thinking their health condition and their eating patterns are something they just can't change. And I've had them go from thinking that there is no hope to I can do this and I am doing this. And I've seen that look like just seemingly impossible health conditions that seem like they weren't going to turn around because the patients that I've had, their doctors have told them this is not going to change. I've seen it change. So I want to impart this hope to you. So start number one is by using the word can. Start saying can because what you speak, your brain hears. Start saying, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Now remember, think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So what would stop you from doing this? Well, you may have a stressful life and you think you can't possibly get a grip on your food choices. I understand. Okay, you may be, and I was there. So that's why, I know a lot about this for a lot of reasons. One is because I'm well studied in it and I know how to overcome it because I've experienced it and I've helped many, many of my patients overcome this too. You may be experiencing a difficult situation in your life that is tugging on your heart. It tugs on your heart. You may have had very bad past experiences. You may have a broken heart. Your emotions regarding your food choices may have developed from a young age. You may have deep-seated beliefs about food that you hang on to. Many years ago, a man came to nutritional coaching, and we'll just call him Joe. Joe was in his 50s, and he was very overweight, and he was concerned about his health. And he was battling diabetes and heart disease, and he didn't know really how long he could go on if he didn't change his eating habits. So he was serious about making some changes. And after several weeks of working with me, he kind of hit a wall with his progress. And one of my personal promises when I work with a coaching patient is to leave no stone unturned when it comes to their health. So because God designed you as a trichotomous being, which is body, mind/soul, which means how you think and how you are in your heart and spirit, most of the time it is never only about me presenting nutrition information to reach a health goal. So in Joe's case, I needed to find out what are these underlying emotional reasons why Joe wasn't making progress, because initially he did really well. But what was revealed is that when Joe was a small child, when he was growing up, he was never allowed to drink soda. He wasn't allowed to drink soda pop. So it didn't matter how badly he wanted it, maybe for special occasions or, just as a treat, his dad would not allow him to have it. And he spent his youthful years dwelling on how, when he became an adult, he would show his dad, he'd show him that he could do what he wanted to do and he would have soda. Now, unfortunately, Joe took it too far because when he turned 18, he began to drink soda and he didn't have it in a while. He had it every day. Also, he didn't just have one soda a day. It turned into a 6-pack daily. And as time went on, he consumed even more. And Joe told me that just hearing the words from me that he needed to cut back on intake triggered all the emotions from his childhood. Can you imagine? So if you don't think your emotions are deeply seated in your psyche, think again. Joe couldn't say, I can decrease my sugar intake until we address these underlying emotional issues that he was holding on to. So it's amazing how much control your emotions have over your health if you let them. Now, this is about your health. This is about you changing the response from the emotions. So there is a way to disconnect your emotions from an unhealthy eating pattern. And that is part of what I do to ensure health goals are met. So number 2 tip for you in this next graphic is for you to have no more excuses. So we want to take a look in the next image about excuses. There we go. So I want you to know that only truth will serve you well. Only truth will serve you well. Don't use excuses or self-defense mechanisms like denial to keep you in a food rut. Now, we've all done this. We've all done this. I've done it. You've done it. Everybody you know has done this. You're not in the exclusion club. So remember, there's no condemnation, but excuses can last a lifetime, and they can and will ruin your health if you let them. Oh, I'm too busy. I can't do it. I'm alone. I'm lonely. I'm lonely. I'm by myself because there's a corona pandemic. So therefore, I'm eating more. Okay, that's why I bake more, right? I've failed before. I've tried this before. I've done this before. That probably isn't going to work. I'm too old. I'm too young. I have bad genes. Everyone in my family suffers with this. That's why I suffer with it. I'll do it later. Well, from this day forward, this is a big tip. No more excuses. No more excuses. Toss out anything in your thinking that does not serve you well to be the best that you were meant to be. Toss it out. It's not serving you. It's not helping you. It's not conducive to your well-being. And that's why you're listening to this, because you're interested in your well-being. And I do. Isn't that what you really want? So you have an incredible superpower. You have an incredible superpower. It is called the power of choice, and your decisions can guide you in any direction of your choosing. So number 3 tip, and this is our next graphic image, is do not let your heart hold your brain hostage. Ah! Don't let your heart pull a gun on your brain, on your logic brain. Is the seat. You know, Proverbs 4 tells us, above all things, guard your heart. Guard your heart, because out of it flow the well springs of life. Everything you think, how you emote, comes from your heart. So you have an amazing power to choose. Imagine how your life would be if your food choices and decisions for your health were based upon right thoughts, right information, right guidance from the right people. That's exactly what I help people do. So in my Maximize Your Health Potential system, I address exactly what you need for your right nutrition, right supplements, right mental and emotional support to unravel anything that is holding you back in your health goals. So what I want you to do is I want you to learn how to master your emotions. So that's the next image I want you to see, is learn how to master your emotions so you can overcome stress responses in your life. I'm not saying stress isn't going to occur. Hey, life's in session. Welcome to life, right? You're going to have, it's interesting because, scripture tells us that we're going to have situations in our life that are stressful. You're going to have trials and tribulations. You're going to have frustrations. But how you respond, this is John 16, how you respond is going to enable you to begin creating healing energy on a cellular level that will naturally cause you to lose stubborn pounds when coupled with the right nutrition. I want you to imagine your life, and I want you to imagine your best going forward. Sometimes that's hard to imagine for people. What are the possibilities for you? to prevent or overcome inflammation in your body that's caused by wrong food choices, chronic stress, maybe toxic overload. Maybe you've had toxic exposure to things that weren't your fault. That has happened to me. And that has happened to many people that I know. So maybe you're under this whole thing that has occurred to you that's no fault of your own. So you can make huge differences in your health for the rest of your life. So I'm here to help you and to guide you. And if you would like to take a step, many people have asked, well, how can I work with you? So I want to give you a link that you can schedule. And this is my gift to you. As I said, this is May is National Mental Health Month. So we're paying close attention to this month where I'll be every week giving you super great tips, just like I did today. And I know that, these things can be very deeply seated. And if you want more help, then you can contact me. And the link is on your screen. This is a no charge 40-minute consultation. And during this consultation, this is actually designed to discuss and address your most pressing health problems. And I will give you my best professional opinion regarding what should be your next best health move, and also to see if we're fit to work together. So this is my special gift to you for Mental Health Month. I want you to be sound emotionally. And if you have any questions, you can contact me at contact@nutritionwithdoc.com. It's contact@nutritionwithdoc.com. Or you can schedule a no charge 40-minute consultation. People have told me this has been life changing for them because there's no obligation. It's really for me to investigate what is going on with you and what's your next best move. Get you on that trajectory line. Here's where you are. Here's where you want to be. How are you going to get there? What's that path going to be? Is it going to be a straight line, or is it something that's going to be a big bumpy road? It's something that's going to be an uphill battle, or can we make it easy for you? And that's really my job, is to really give you right direction. And I think that's one of the most valuable things that I provide. Recently, a patient told me that she's been dabbling in nutrition most of her life, and she just needs direction. She's here, there, and everywhere. Takes some supplements here, some supplements there, read something here, read something there, apply this, apply that. But that's not actually for what you need. So that's what I help you with. So when you learn to master your emotions to take back your health, your life will absolutely change. And lastly, I want to give you a scripture to encourage you. And this is Proverbs 3:5 and 6. And it says, trust the Lord with all your heart and mind, and do not lean on your own insight and understanding. Recognize him in all your ways and all you do, and he will make straight and plain your paths. God puts the right people in your life. He puts the right doctors in your life. He puts everything in your life when you lean on him and trust in him. That's how he guided me back to health. That's how he will guide you back to health. So I know that, for many people, I've been a great support for that. And for that, I am truly grateful. So I want to thank you so much for listening to this entire message today. I do pray, my prayer for you is that it will be life-changing for you. And so until next time, may God richly bless you with your best health. Thank you.